Hi, everybody. It's Mrs. King. I'm here with your weekly reading lesson, and we're going to do our reading lesson this week using this article called I Invented My New Arm. And what I want to do first, and I've already gone ahead and done it for you, is to preview this article like we normally would by looking at all the text features and all of the graphics that are included in this article. So let's start at the beginning. And at the beginning, I've already gone ahead and I've either highlighted or circled in pink. Right here, it says my true story, one unforgettable kid. I'm thinking, true story, that must tell me that it's a nonfiction because a nonfiction is based on fact and truth rather than fiction, which is a made up story. The title here is I Invented My New Arm. And underneath here, the subtitle says Jordan Reeves turned her disability into a superpower. Now she helps others do the same. So I'm thinking that this is going to be about a girl named Jordan who has something to do with an invention that helps other people with their disabilities. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and continue previewing, and I see some bolded words, and I've highlighted them in pink as well. Disability, prosthetic, and over here is limbs. Then I've gone ahead and I've chunked my text, and I'm going to split it right about here, right before the subheadings. So let's continue to look at the graphics. They're just as important. We need to use the graphics to help us think about what we're reading. And so here I have circled this graphic here of this girl with this funny looking thing coming off of her arm, which tells me that it must have something to do with the title. Maybe this is what she invented. And the caption says, Jordan and her mom wrote a book called Born Just Right. Wonder why she wrote a book. And then we'll look down here and I see another picture. And it's a picture of, I guess that's Jordan. And here she's missing part of her arm. That would be a disability. So I'm wondering if this is part of why she invented a new arm. Okay, and then I'm going to go over here to this strip or this sequence, creating Project Unicorn. I wonder what Project Unicorn is. Okay, and this caption says Jordan sketched her idea. So apparently she sketched out what she thought of first. And then number 2 says this expert helped make sure her design would fit. And then Jordan's new arm was made on a 3D printer. Oh, I've seen 3D printers before. They're really cool. They use a plastic and they make what you have designed. So now I'm going to go back over here and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to look and start reading. And I'm going to put up some sticky notes here because that's what I'm going to write my stop and jots on. And remember, the stop and jots are the who and the what is it all about. And so I've got 3 stop and jot notes here, one for the introduction and one for the next part called Glitter Girl and one for Born Just Right. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start reading and then I'm going to stop and jot thinking about what I've just read. Okay, so let's start over here. Jordan, age 13, was born with a disability. Her left arm stops above her elbow. And I've highlighted the word disability, and when I look down here, I see that a disability is an illness or injury that limits how a person's body or mind works. So that kind of connects with this picture here because here she's missing part of her arm, and that would make it very difficult to do some things. But she says this difference doesn't hold her back. She's proud of being different, and she's found a creative way to help other kids feel proud of their differences too. Oh, well, she sounds like a pretty special kid. So I'm going to go over here and in the introduction, the who is Jordan. Let's type Jordan in here. And what does she do? Well, she has this disability, and so she uses it to help other people, but she's also found a way to be proud of being different. So we're going to write Jordan is proud of her. Right? We're going to go ahead and we're going to continue to read, starting over here at Glitter Girl. Life isn't always easy for Jordan. People sometimes stare at her, and Jordan can find it challenging to do certain activities. He sometimes uses a prosthetic arm to do things like ride a bike. And the definition for prosthetic is an object that replaces a missing or injured body part. See what this purple thing is here. This must be her part that replaces it. 3 years ago, Jordan designed a new prosthetic arm, one that turned her disability into a superpower. She worked with experts to create an arm that is shaped like a unicorn horn and shoots glitter. The team made the arm using a 3D printer. That's a printer that makes objects using plastic or other materials. Jordan called her invention Project Unicorn. That must be what this is over here, creating Project Unicorn. And it tells us how she did that. It was a cool experience to show that you can build onto your difference to make it awesome, she said. Hmm. So let's stop and think a little bit about what this section is about, Glitter Girl. Well, it talks about how Jordan had a prosthetic arm, and it talks about what she did to make it useful and to be special. So I'm going to put over here Jordan Yates special arm. That'd be pretty special to have something shoot glitter out. Okay, and let's continue reading. Born just right. Jordan wanted other kids to have the same chance. She and her mom formed a group called Born Just Right to help kids create their own special prosthetic limb. And the definition for limb is either like an arm or a leg if you're missing that. People will still stare at Jordan, but she uses those moments to teach others. And she has a message for any kid who feels different. Your differences are amazing, said Jordan. Wow, she sounds like a pretty special kid. And so this section here, she's telling me the who again is Jordan. So let's put down Jordan. And what is she doing? She's teaching other kids and helping other kids to feel proud about their differences. So if I write this down in a couple words, I'm going to say Jordan helps others feel proud. And she did this by telling people that it's okay to be different. Okay, so let's quickly just review this whole entire article by looking at our stop and jots. Over here, it says Jordan is proud of her difference and she creates a special arm and she helps others feel proud about your differences. That pretty much sums up what this whole article is about. So as we're reading, good readers stop and take a couple notes. They jot, just remember the who and the what is it all about. And then they write them down on sticky notes or on a piece of paper or on the article itself so that you can go back and review what the passage is about. And this is what your work is going to be this week. And let me quickly show you what you're going to be doing this week. Okay. So this article is a little bit different. It's called a clean start. Okay. But you're going to do the same thing that we just did. You're going to read this article, and anywhere that it has a pause and think question is where you would stop and jot. Okay, so you're going to stop and you're going to read this part of the article. And first, you're going to preview it. And the very first thing I notice up here is it tells me it's a fiction story. That tells me, based on the illustration and everything else, that it's not a true story. It's a made up story. It's a fiction story. Okay, so anywhere you see pause and stop, pause and think, you're going to answer that question. Okay, and you're going to need to answer it in complete sentences. Make sure that you preview looking at your bolded words and your definitions and doing all the same things we just did on the last passage. So there's 2, 3, 4, I believe there's 6 stops. 5, 6. Yes, there are 6 pause and think questions. And what you're going to do as you read this, you're going to have your paper set aside so you could be reading and writing it on your paper, or you can write it on a copy of the article. Or what you can do is you can read it and then you can flip over here into Google Classroom and you'll see that there is a Google form, says week 5, reading grade, clean start. And this is what we're going to be taking your grades on this week. Make sure you put your name on here if you're using the Google form. And these are the same questions. You'll see there's 6 of them. It is the same exact questions that are here on your pause and think. So you can choose to either write it on your paper, just a blank piece of paper, write it on your article, or you can flip over to the Google Classroom. And that's what we're going to be grading on this week is your stop and make sure that you complete your work and that if you're using the Google form, you're writing incomplete sentences. So for instance, if this says here, how did Max get the parts to build Walter? You would start your answer. Max got the parts to build Walter by, okay? Don't just tell me your answer. I need to see it in a complete sentence, including capitals and ending punctuation, okay? Also, if you do that on a piece of paper, make sure you're using, it says, write your stop and jot notes to show your thinking, answer the question using complete sentences. So either way, however you want to turn it in, that's your homework for this week. And that's our lesson for this week. And I hope y'all are working really hard and reading every single day. You've been doing a great job turning your work in. If you have any questions, please feel free to either email me or we'll cover them during our Zoom meeting on Friday. But I miss y'all and stay safe, and I look forward to seeing you soon. Bye.